3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate could be yours. Click on the link in the description, like, and subscribe to the channel. T's and C's apply. Good luck. The launch of the 9th generation came with one caveat: the need for fast and rapid storage. The Xbox One and PlayStation 4 allowed for USB portable hard drives and SSDs to be connected to the systems to play and store the games. Portable USB hard drives were quite affordable and come in high capacities too. The 9th generation of consoles, with Xbox Series X and Series S, and the PlayStation 5 require super fast storage, with the PlayStation 5 having an M.2 port to allow for a 2280 NVMe drive to be plugged in, whereas the Xbox Series X and S for proprietary expansion card. Both consoles allow for external, portable HDDs and SSDs to be plugged in via the USB ports, but this form of storage only allows for 8th gen on PS5, which is just PlayStation 4 games, and for Xbox, Xbox 360 and Xbox One games to be played direct from the drive. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S games can be stored on the external storage, but they cannot be played directly from them. But what if there was a way? Let's delve in to find out. So, as you see, this is my Xbox dashboard with all the recent games that I've been playing. Now let me go into my games and apps, and on here you'll see that I have 266 games available. Now, I have 2 external drives plugged in, plus the internal storage on the Xbox Series S, but this is limited to a very small 366GB. Now, the vast majority of games that I have on here are from Game Pass, but obviously the vast majority of these games are also stored on my external SSD. This allows me to transfer games back and forth to my internal storage with pretty quick speed. You'll see that if I try to boot an Xbox Series X and S game that isn't on my internal storage, I will get the message that the game cannot be played from external storage, and that it will need to be transferred to internal storage to be played. And this was, until recently, illustrated by the 2 arrows symbol. Any of these games listed here that have the symbol means that they need to be transferred to the internal storage to be played. But there used to be ones that didn't have this symbol. In this footage you'll see games like Knockout City, Forza Horizon 5, Psychonauts 2, which are on my internal drive, but then there are games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Sea of Thieves, and We Happy Few that are not on my internal drive, and while the footage shows them without the arrows, a new update has since added the arrows, including to games like Star Wars Squadrons and Maid of Sker. But why do games need to be on the internal drive at all? Well, when Microsoft announced the Xbox Series X and S, they also announced other buzzwords, such as Xbox Velocity Architecture and Smart Delivery. The latter means that the version of the game that is installed on your system corresponds to the actual system that you have. So, if you're on the base Xbox One, One S, One X, Series S, or Series X, you would get the best available game for that system. Unfortunately for Series S owners, they are quite hamstrung by the small capacity on 366GB, advertised as 500GB, yet having to download large file sizes. Unlike the PS5, on the Xbox Series X and S, there is no option to download, let's say for example, the Xbox One version. On PS5 though, you can download the PS4 option of that game if you really wanted to. So, how do I get Series X and S games to play off an external drive? Well, this won't apply for all games, but there are a few games out there that are Xbox Series X and S certified, such as Descenders, which has the Xbox Series X and S logo. But as you can see, this is stored on my external storage. You can also hit the View button, the button that has the 2 overlapping squares just above the D-pad. Then you can bring up this menu and go to File Information. From here, you can see 2 important pieces of information. The first is the generation, or gen. It says Durango, and this was the pre-release codename for the Xbox One. The second is console type, which says Xbox One Gen 9 Aware, meaning that this is the Xbox One version of the game, but with certain features on the Xbox Series X and S. Doom Eternal is a bit different, with it being a Durango, but this time just Xbox One. But why care? Well, games are starting to take up a huge amount of space, such as the Halo Master Chief Collection, which comes in at a whopping 138GB. But If you didn't have to store this on your internal drive, then it makes it a bit more palatable to have it as part of your collection when it can be stored externally, and yet still reap the benefits of the Xbox Series X and S. Benefits of this could be things like quick resume. You'll see that Star Wars Squadrons doesn't have quick resume as part of it, but that is not necessarily because of it not being on my internal storage. Games like Ori, which are not on my internal storage, do have quick resume. So there's a bit of an interesting difference here. Games that are Xbox Series X and S compatible and don't work on the external drive will have the codename Scarlet, and this is because that was the codename for the console. I hope this video was helpful to all of you, and if you're still watching, then thank you very much. But this doesn't just work on the Xbox Series S, it also works on the Xbox Series X. So if you start running out of storage on your Xbox Series X as well, then feel free to use this tip. But if I have helped you, please like and subscribe to the channel. There will be more videos on Xbox coming up soon. But for now, that's everything. See you on the next video.